Zion Williamson. He will miss an extended period of time with a right adductor injury.
Good, bad, no matter what's going on, greatness, you do it every day. You show up every day and you make it happen every day.
I need you to focus in for a second because what I'm about to break down might be one of the craziest twists hitting the NBA right now. Reports are saying that league insiders believe the New Orleans Pelicans are actually prepared to take, and I quote, the first decent and reasonable offer for Zion Williamson.
He's going to be reevaluated in 3 weeks. An interim head coach, James Borrego, spoke last night about the upcoming absence of Zion.
This is the kind of move nobody expected, and it's got the entire league doing double takes. Let that sink in for a second. The #1 pick in the 2019 NBA draft, a two-time All-Star, a forward who was hyped as the most explosive and entertaining player to enter the league since LeBron James.
Talent is more of a natural thing. Like, you can look at somebody and go, okay, they're really talented. Greatness is every day. Greatness is when you don't want to do it, when you want to do it. If you're facing crazy adversity, good, bad, no matter what's going on, greatness, you do it every day. You show up every day and you make it happen every day.
One of the most naturally powerful athletes we've ever witnessed, and the Pelicans are basically prepared to hand him off like he's a clearance item. But here's where the story flips completely, and this part is just unreal. This season was supposed to be the turning point. Zion pulled up looking like a totally new version of himself.
They have tried just about everything. They have changed training staff. They have changed chefs. They have changed coaches.
Lean, sharp, and locked in. The man looked so different, people were joking he must have hopped on some miracle weight cut plan. We're talking close to a 50-pound transformation, looking lighter than he did at Duke. Even his own teammates said he's never seen Zion this slim.
Yeah, he looks good right now. He's slimmer than I've ever seen him during the summertime, which is always a really good sign. And, I just feel like he's in a really good place mentally.
And in those first 10 games, Zion was straight cooking, playing with insane energy and confidence. So what changed? How did we go from Zion is finally healthy and locked in to we'll take the first offer that comes in? This flip doesn't even make sense until you see the full picture. That's exactly what I'm breaking down in this video, and trust me, when we get into what the front office did with their assets over the summer, you're gonna need a seat because the decision they made might be one of the wildest moves any pro franchise has made. And because of that choice, the Pelicans might be boxed in with no option but to move Zion.
But I think the pathway forward with Zion is continue to support him, like James Borrego said, and continue to try to exhaust all pathways to get him into a space where he can be the dominant player.
And yes, I'm also diving into which teams could actually make a real push to trade for him. One of those teams is built to compete for a championship right now, and their name getting tied into this situation is going to catch a lot of people off guard. So let's run it back to September, because believe it or not, the vibe around the Pelicans was actually solid for once. Zion pulled up to media day and had everybody stunned. He legit looked like he rebuilt himself from the ground up with some intense summer training. Coach Willie Green couldn't stop praising him, saying, I saw his work this summer, his attention to his body, his conditioning. He wants to be available for his teammates. That energy had the whole building feeling like something special was finally about to click. According to Beat, here's how everything unfolded. While Zion was rehabbing that hamstring from last season, he sat down with Pelicans trainer Daniel Bove, and the two had a real heart-to-heart moment. Bove basically told him, Zion, we gotta lock in. When you come back, we need you stronger than ever. So they cooked up this whole new grind. Boxing sessions, football-style field drills, and all kinds of fresh training routines. Zion even trained with Teresa Weatherspoon, a 5-time WNBA All-Star who used to coach with the Pelicans. And Zion himself said, it feels good to be good. I haven't felt like this since college or high school. And in the preseason, Zion really shocked everybody. Sports Illustrated reported he shot a wild 82% from the field. In the final preseason game, he dropped 18 points on 9 for 11 shooting against the Magic. But beyond the numbers, his movement looked sharper, his explosiveness came back, and fans were going crazy with hope. Even the media started buying in like maybe, just maybe, this was finally the turning point. But just like those summer clips of Ben Simmons doing free throw routines, the pattern came right back around. The Zion injury story and the whole weight loss hype cycle hit restart the moment the real season began, and within a few weeks, that same old nightmare showed up again.
I got it checked out and got that great news. Not great news, but it wasn't what I wanted to hear.
Now, to really paint the picture, I gotta hit you with some stats, and honestly, they're rough. According to NBA.com, since Zion was drafted first overall in 2019, he's only played 45% of Pelicans games. Just 45%. The top pick of the draft has missed more than half of his team's games across 6 seasons. That's not occasional injury issues. That's part-time status. Zion is drifting into Kawhi-style availability, but without the championships to go with it. And according to RotoWire, Zion has logged fewer career minutes than Paolo Banchero. Think about that. Paolo got drafted 3 years after Zion, and he's already played more NBA basketball. That's how rough this whole thing has been. And this season was supposed to be different because Zion trimmed down, right? Nope. First, he missed time with a bruised foot. Then he caught a hamstring strain that knocked him out for 8 straight games. He came back on November 19th, looked solid for 5 out of 7 games, and then boom, another setback. According to the Pelicans' official announcement, Zion was diagnosed with a grade 2 right hip abductor strain. He's out indefinitely, and he won't even be reevaluated for at least 3 weeks. Shams Charania reported he won't be back until late December, maybe even early 2026. And here's the part that's truly wild. ESPN's Bobby Marks said that after Zion played a career-high 70 games in the 2023 to 2024 season, he's only appeared in 40 total games between last season and this one. He's played 30 or fewer games in 4 of his 6 NBA seasons. The only time he passed 60 games was that 2023 to 2024 season, and even then, he got hurt during the play-in and missed the whole playoff series against Oklahoma City.
A unique contract. It's a low-risk move if you are one of those teams out there, as I said, where you're not sacrificing draft picks and significant players on your own roster.
When Zion actually touched the court this season, he put up 22.1 points, 5.6 boards, and 4 assists. He was hooping, but he played only 10 out of 22 games. That's the Zion Williamson experience in one sentence. Unstoppable when healthy, but never available long enough to change the franchise. The new interim coach, James Borrego, tried to keep the energy positive. And look, I think the coach was being honest, but eventually the excuses dry up, and the Pelicans are stuck asking if they'll ever get the version of Zion they were promised. The injuries keep stacking, and the team is left wondering what their future even looks like. But the real mess starts with the Pelicans front office. Here's the quick version of the chaos. First, coaching. New Orleans fired Willie Green on November 15th after starting 2-10. And sure, he wasn't perfect, but check the situation. He went 150 to 190 across 4+ seasons, while Zion missed about 61% of the games he coached. Zion showed up for only 134 of the 340 games Green managed. No coach is winning big under conditions like that. So James Borrego stepped in as interim, but he walked straight into trouble. Then the offseason moves took things to another level. The Pelicans had the Pacers pick from the Ingram trade, top 4 protected and valuable. But right before Tyrese Halliburton tore his Achilles, they traded that pick back to Indiana. And now the Pacers are near the bottom of the league, meaning that pick they gave up could become a top 5 selection in a stacked 2026 draft. And that class could be special. Cam Boozer, Darren Peterson, AJ DeBonsa, all potential future stars. Losing that chance hurts. But it gets even wilder. The Pelicans fell in love with one prospect and went all in. They used the 23rd pick plus their own unprotected 2026 first-rounder to move up and draft Maryland big man Derek Queen at number 13 from Atlanta, unprotected with 0 safety net. The better of the Pelicans pick or the Bucks pick now belongs to the Hawks. Derek Queen has potential, sure, but giving up an unprotected first-round pick is something contenders do, not a team relying on a star who's rarely healthy. Reports say the Hawks were stunned. Executive Bryson Graham asked for confirmation multiple times just to make sure the pick was actually unprotected. Their GM even called Joe Dumars, directly thinking it had to be a mistake. They were basically waiting for him to realize how wild the offer truly was. According to CBS Sports, the rest of the league wasn't just confused by the Pelicans' move, they were laughing at it. One report said executives were chortling at how wild the trade looked. The Pelicans had Derek Queen graded as a top 5 prospect internally, but even if he ends up great, the price they paid was unbelievable. New Orleans could have had 2 lottery picks in a stacked 2026 draft featuring AJ DeBonsa and Cameron Boozer. They literally held a golden escape route from the entire Zion situation. Instead, they're sitting at 3-20 with the worst record in the West, no first-round pick next year, and the kind of front office meltdown that feels unreal. So let's pull the whole picture together, because this story is mainly about Zion, yet the entire roster is falling apart. The Pelicans are 3-20, dead last in the West. Losers in 14 of their last 15 games and nearly tied with the Wizards for the worst record in the league. And it's not just Zion dealing with setbacks. DeJounte Murray, the guy they gave up Dyson Daniels and 2 firsts for, tore his Achilles in January and still hasn't played this season. Jordan Poole has missed games too. Meanwhile, Dyson Daniels went to Atlanta, won Most Improved Player, and made an all-defensive team. The Pelicans basically handed the Hawks the tools for a future dynasty. But here's why the Pelicans might feel boxed into trading Zion. His contract situation is wild. He signed a 5-year, $197 million extension in 2022. But because he missed more than 22 games last season, the final 3 years became non-guaranteed. In theory, the Pelicans could waive him this offseason and owe nothing. That probably won't happen, but it gives any team trading for him real flexibility. He's making $39 million this year, then $42 million and $44 million in 2026 to 2027 and 2027 to 2028. Big money, but the non-guaranteed years make him more movable than people think. So here's the real issue: Zion's trade value. Who's giving up assets for a player who's missed over half the games in his career? He's never played in the playoffs. He doesn't shoot threes, he's not a top defender, and when he's hurt, he's basically a $40 million cap blocker. But when he's healthy, he's a top 20 talent. So now the question hits: which teams are actually bold enough or hungry enough to trade for Zion Williamson? There are a few teams that actually make sense for a Zion trade, so let's break them down. The most interesting fit has to be the Golden State Warriors. They've been tied to Zion and to Pelicans pieces like Herb Jones and Trey Murphy. While New Orleans has shown real interest in Jonathan Kuminga, Golden State has the tools to make a real offer. They've got Kuminga on a 2-year, $46.8 million deal, Brandon Podziemski, who their owner swears is a future all-star, and a pile of first-round picks in 2026, 2027, 2028, 2029, and 2031. And those picks could turn into lottery gold once the Steph Curry and Draymond Green era fades out. A package with Kuminga, some vets for salary matching, and multiple picks could get a trade done. Zion is only 25, and he'd instantly become Golden State's second-best scorer while also giving them a future beyond Steph. It's risky, but this franchise loves taking big swings. Remember, they traded for Jimmy Butler last year, and since they once helped Steph push through his early injury issues, they might think they can help Zion too. Next up, the Sacramento Kings. They're 5-16, desperate for a shakeup and always collecting talent without much hesitation. Zion fits right into that chaotic energy. They have trade chips like Zach LaVine or Domantas Sabonis to match money. Smart move? Maybe not. Would they still do it? For Sacramento, absolutely. Then we've got the Charlotte Hornets. Zion was linked to them not long ago, and a LaMelo Ball-Zion pairing would be wild to watch when both are healthy. The downside? LaMelo already struggles with injuries too, so teaming him with another injured star is questionable. But if they stay on the court, the entertainment value is crazy. Charlotte could build a package around Colin Sexton's expiring deal, young players, and picks, and it'd basically be a hometown move for Zion since he grew up right across the border in South Carolina. Here's the real truth with Zion. The talent is real. 24.6 points per game for his career, elite efficiency at the rim, 2 all-star nods, and the ability to dominate in ways most players can't touch. But the availability problems have rewritten his whole story. 6 years in, he's played only 224 regular season games and missed more than he's suited up for. And in this league, one rule never changes. The best ability is availability, and Zion just hasn't been able to give that. What do you think about this whole Zion situation? Does he need a fresh start somewhere else, or should the Pelicans try one more time to make it work? And which team do you think should take the risk on him? I really want to hear your take on all this, so drop your thoughts in the comments. I'm truly thankful for every opinion you share. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the breakdown, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Ball Stories to keep the heat coming. And don't dip out yet. There are plenty more wild NBA stories waiting for you on the channel, so go check out another video and keep the vibe rolling. All right, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.